huge game this week and a huge rivalry between the two. How do you approach the build-up?
Obviously, you just try and keep it as normal as you possibly can. You try and approach it as any other sort of game, but obviously the players know, and I think everyone involved in the club knows it's not a normal game. It's a derby. Obviously, I think everyone's looking forward to it. Test ourselves, especially on the run that we've been going, see whether or not we can perform with victory.
And given the spot you are on the table, I suppose, and looking ahead, do you feel as if you are a genuine chance of making finals?
Yeah, it's still 7 or so games to go, so we definitely think we're a chance. We're only 6 points behind, and we've won 5 out of the last 6, so we're fairly confident that if we keep obviously the results going, that we can make it.
Could have you imagined things would turn around the way they have and as quickly as they have?
We always had self-belief in ourselves. Obviously, we were playing well during the season, didn't necessarily get all the right results that we would have liked, but obviously, the last 6 weeks or so have been fantastic for us. We could have won 6 out of 6 if it wasn't for Griffith scoring in the 90th minute in Adelaide. So not necessarily too surprised with how we're going.
Is it as simple as crediting John and his amazing work he's been able to do since arriving here?
Obviously, every coach that comes in implements their own sort of style, and obviously I've known John from a couple of seasons ago as well as a lot of the other boys, but as I said before, I thought we were playing well. We just didn't get necessarily results earlier on in the season, but with the win against Newcastle, I think that lifted everybody, and we got that self-belief and confidence back to a higher level, I suppose, and we've just managed to carry that on.
Has JVS changed much, do you think, in the way you do things?
I'm just trying to recall. Yeah, I'd say he has slightly. I think every coach evolves through time, and he was here, would have been a couple of years ago now, and so I think he's changed slightly. Obviously, he had his experience in Mexico and whatnot, and I think he has grown from that. And we do seem to play not necessarily the exact sort of football we played a couple of years ago.
Are you more flexible now than you were, do you feel, as a team, that less wedded to the 4-3-3 that used to be the way? Yeah,
I think JVS understands the sort of system that other teams play, and you can't necessarily persist always with the one system if you don't believe it's going to, not necessarily not going to work, but if you don't believe it's the best for that single game. So I think he's able to see that, and he's flexible in that sort of way that he can change it.
Because some of those games, I think in Sydney you started with a back three and that sort of thing, didn't you?
Yeah, I think, obviously you can see that throughout the game, in the middle of the game, that obviously the Sydney result, we got the red card, so it had to change somewhat. But I remember a couple of years ago when we played against Sydney, we started with a back three and resorted back to a back four. Sorry, it was the other way around actually. And so obviously I think any sort of coach that sees it's not working needs to change things.
What about your personal form? Because you had that horror show where you missed the whole season, didn't you, with the leg injury? Do you feel you're sort of back to your best now?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm getting better. Obviously I had 4 operations during the off season, which was difficult on the body, and I think it just takes, as anyone with a serious sort of injury, it just takes time to get back into it. So of late it's been good, so I'm obviously happy with the way the team's been going, though. That's the main thing. The team's the main focus, and we're playing well, and so obviously any sort of player is going to be happy.
Did you feel that you started the season slowly on you as a comeback after such a long time out? Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
I have to admit that. I think anyone who's been out for, I hadn't played a competitive game for 11 months prior to obviously October, and I think self-confidence was a little low. You've got to know your body again and know what to do in certain situations, and just try and remember how you used to play.
And that was a tough mental challenge then, to get back to that self-belief, yeah?
Oh, I think so. I think it just takes time. I think some players take shorter time than others, and I suppose for me, it's taken a little bit longer than I would have liked. So it is a small challenge to get back from a long-term injury.
Pretty good, that nutmeg on Saturday through Luke Bratton's legs.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. It managed to just get through. He took a slight deflection on the way through, and it was definitely, I'll take it. I suppose I had no other option to do, so I had to try my luck.
Well measured cross though. I mean, do you feel that part of your game's improving? Do you feel that you've improved as a footballer, say, than where you were 2 years ago, even with this year out?
Obviously with experience and with a bit of age, you expect to get better slightly, until you hit obviously maybe your mid-30s when you tend to slow down a little bit. But obviously you want to improve every single season that you play, and I feel just like, obviously I want to be performing as well as I possibly can week in, week out.
Did that year out make you realise, in a way, how lucky you are to have football as a job? Did it make you consider, you know, your position, what the game means to you, what you can do with your career?
I'll tell you what, whenever you spend an extended period of time off the park, yeah, you take it for granted. You don't necessarily, like, obviously I missed it immensely when I was out, and I think every sort of footballer would. Lynch, I'm not sure how you'd feel if you couldn't do journalism for a couple of years or something like that.
I'd rather be a footballer.
Yeah, too true, too true. But yeah, you do miss it, and you do obviously, I suppose you cherish the time more so when you start playing again.
And finally, just on a team note, that late tackle that pretty much saved a goal, it was pretty impressive stuff. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I remember I just saw Brish obviously going through one-on-one, and I thought, 9 times out of 10 he usually scores these. So I had a sort of an average feeling, but I saw Redders come out quite early. I thought maybe he had a chance, but then obviously Paddy can always come out of nowhere, and he's managed to stick his foot in, and I thought it was a fantastic tackle and obviously saved the game for us.